Okay, so you can see that I'm using a different camera today. This is my old camera that I used to use where I do the teaching here and then my little thumbnail down over here or whatever. And so I'm doing this because I need to show you some things on a couple of Pinterests. Um, I have no idea what you call that. Pinups? I don't know. I mean, that tells you that I'm not 18 years old. So, and my choice of drink today is Limonissimo, Limonata, Limone Centriolo. This is with cucumber and lemons. This is not an advertisement. This is just to show you. Life over here is not so bad. You've got some Italian drinks that you can go buy. I actually like, there are two flavors of this. I like the grapefruit with basil. It's really strong basil flavor with some grapefruit. It's very good. It's a carbonated drink. So what I want to show you today is transgender transformations. And I've already done a couple of videos on pornography and the devil's plan. And as I pointed out, by doing a full-scale sweep of the different kinds of pornography, different subcategories, and the things that, the way that they work in order to drive you into certain areas of it, I showed that the ultimate agenda is to destroy gender. Now, you say, why would the devil want to destroy gender? Well, you remember that God told Adam and Eve, he commanded them, be fruitful and multiply. It's what God said in the beginning to them when he created them. He created Adam and Eve with gender, with opposite genders, compatible opposite genders. Many people today feel like they're not compatible with the other gender. So men feel oftentimes rejected and demeaned and pushed aside like garbage, or like stuck on her shoe like dog poop. These are the feelings that men have towards women. And I remember too, as I was a teenager, that was a very common feeling for us boys. And the women, I don't know that they purposely did it, but the way that they were behaving perpetrated that. And their parents didn't teach them how to behave with the other gender. And I wasn't taught how to behave with the other gender either. It was just assumed that we would figure it out, but at some point, parents were teaching them how to behave with the other gender, and our parents didn't. And I guarantee the parents after us and after us and after us, they never taught how to behave with the opposite gender. And maybe yours did. Okay, yours would be the exception though. And girls also feel very intense rejection from boys. They also just don't understand boys because they want boys to behave like girls, and boys don't behave like girls. Well, the ones who do, they get along with, but then they don't want to be with, like in a romantic relationship. And we know that. That's talked about quite frequently. I don't need to go into that again. But what I want to do is I want to show this, and I want to just have you just gaze at some of these, and I want you to look at your feelings about it. And also think about how God would feel about it when he creates us as a male, or he creates us as a female. And we flaunt that, and we disrespect it, and we do everything we can to fight against it. And this is God's will for you, that you be a man if you're born a man. This is God's will for you, that you be a woman if you are born a woman. And when you fight against that and try to alter that, you are fighting against God's will. You're opposing God in the most complete way you can. So in the Old Testament, it does call cross-dressing an abomination to God. That's just cross-dressing. Imagine how he feels about someone who actually physically alters the body to become the other gender rather than just appear like they're the other gender. What about the one who takes hormones and forces the body to start reshaping itself What about the one who undergoes the knife to have operations to physically alter the body to another gender? What about the one who lies with someone of the same gender as if they are the opposite gender? It's an abomination also. It's in the same passages in the Old Testament. It's the first books of the Bible, first 5 books of Torah. These have always been canon. They've always been divine scripture. Longer than any other books. Okay. So I'm just going to scroll up here so you can see. So each one of these is a set of before and after. I'll go ahead and poke into a couple of them. You can see a little closer. He's actually on hormones. He says 5 months in, there haven't been many changes, even though he tries to dress like a woman. He wanted to share this with people who inspire him to oppose the will of God for his life. And who give him hope every day. Hope in what? Hope in overthrowing God's will on your life? That's what it is. Now understand that I'm not speaking any of these things out of hate. Absolutely not. I sympathize with these people. Any of these people who are going through the struggle, I sympathize with them. And I think I showed that at the very beginning when I was talking about the struggles of boys and girls towards the opposite gender. I sympathize with them. On the other hand, the adults in their lives are not doing them any service, and especially the government. Now, I don't like to rail against the government, and I will not say anything bad about the president, the sitting president, because that's my vow as a soldier. I believe that vow is for life, and I don't speak bad about the sitting president. But about the government in general, it doesn't do a service to these young boys and girls who have this struggle. They don't understand this struggle. And to have voices of adults who don't understand the struggle and interpret it into something it isn't, even cements this confusion. It's wrong. So again, there's no hatred at all from me towards someone who is either transgender or transitioning. No hatred. I don't have hatred towards them. I don't have hatred towards homosexuals or bisexuals. I don't want them to continue to do the sin. Absolutely not. It is a sin, and it needs to stop. We read in the scriptures, the holy scriptures, that is God's testimony to mankind. You can say humanity if you want. If you think mankind is a gender misogynistic term, that's fine. Humanity is okay. It's God's testimony to humanity, where he says that when a society moves into this position of perverting the gender, that they move under God's wrath to the point where God is so angry about it that he is going to destroy the civilization. He will. He holds off for a long time. He's held off for a very long time with us. And we push it and push it and push it, and we are not repentant. And even in the church is given in. There's so much of the churches, and all of them are apostate. Every one of them are apostate churches. It's horrible. You are no longer the salt of the earth. You're only good to be thrown out and trampled under by men. That's what Jesus says. If the salt loses its saltiness, what good is it? other than to be thrown out and trampled under by men. So, all right, let's go back. Let's have another look. How about this one? This poor boy. Look how young he is. It's terrible. Look at this guy. Full beard. Now, do you believe this is the same person? I'm not convinced it's the same person because the nose is quite different. You say, that how's the nose different? Because over here on the left, the nose flares up on the side. Over here it doesn't. And it may be due to the difference in angle, but notice also the nose is much, much thinner here on her than on him. So, yeah, I'm not convinced. Now, this one could be a fake. Whoops. I think that one went to a Reddit. I just want to see that. All right. Making progress? That's not progress. This is rebellion against God. They're not purposely doing this to rebel against God. But you don't have to purposely sin in order to sin. And when you become an abomination to God, it doesn't have to be on purpose. Women who dress like men and become a Christian and they're never told to stop dressing like men are an abomination to God. They don't even know it. And here's a man not only dressing as a woman, but transforming his body physically. Here you go. Here's some guy, plays guitar, looks like just the guy. And here he is trying to be something else than what he is. And becomes an abomination to God. 4 months of hormones, makeup, a lot of makeup tutorials later. I no longer hate pictures of myself. He said the truth is that we look at ourselves and we either love, I mean like love, romantic love ourselves, or we don't romantic love ourselves. And if we don't romantically love ourselves, what do? We try to transform into something that we can romantically love ourselves. This is who he would want to date. And he's trying to become who he would want to date. That tells the root of the problem. Is it back here? Probably he felt like he could not win a woman to love him. And so he thought it would be easier than to become a woman. Then he could give that away to the men like him before, who felt like they couldn't win a woman. And he knows what they feel because that's what he feels. And so he's going to take advantage of that. He's going to take advantage of that. He's going to take advantage of that. That vulnerability of those men. And convince them to get into a homosexual relationship. I am a transgendered woman who is on her journey to become the woman she has always been. You are more than the label given to you by society. Society didn't give you that label. Society had nothing to do with making you a man. This is the propaganda, the poison that is spread by adults to the youth in order to make them do this. Because they hate Christians, they hate church, they hate the Bible, they hate God. And so now some of them have gone in and tried to change God. We'll get to soon we'll get to a video about a young man who has tried to do that. It wasn't society who gave you a label. You think you don't have a label now? The label you have is made by society. Trans is a society label. Man and woman are not. Man and woman are a biological label. Trans is man-made. And you say that boy or man is a society label? Are you completely stupid? Really, are you completely stupid? Your brains have been scrambled somehow. Trans, how are you becoming trans? With medicine, which men made in order to force the body to change itself? With makeup tutorials, makeup is made by men in order to conceal imperfections and things that people don't like, you don't like. It's completely man-made. It's completely society-made. It's a complete societal label. You who are trans and you who are transitioning to trans or transing to trans, through trans, under trans, over trans, I don't know what you say. I don't care. I don't care about the verbiage. How you say it, it's still the same. You complain about being a man being a label of society is wrong. You're absolutely wrong. It's a biological label. It's a label of biology. You were born that way. You were born with testicles and a penis and with flat chest with the nipples on it, not with breasts that give milk, not with a vagina and a womb and fallopian tubes and eggs. Those are biology. Those are not society. And if you have one, you're a man. If you have another, you're a woman. We don't need to talk about border cases where you have some 1 out of a million born, where they've got both some sort of proto vagina and some sort of proto penis or something. This kind of hybrid is so rare. It's an actual genetic mutation. And we don't need to get into that because the overall overwhelming presentation in biology is male and female in the human species. One of my degrees is in biology. So I can emphasize this very strongly. That is a biological label, male and female. And when you then try to transition from one to the other, you become something artificial. You don't transition your gender from male to female. You transition your gender from male to artificial. It's not a female gender. And you can put all the makeup on you want. And you can get all the plastic surgery done that you want. And here. You can have all the hormones you want. But the transition is not to female. The transition is to artificial gender. It's man-made gender. It's societal gender. Society is superimposing this on you. No one else. Who else? Who else would impose trans on you? Society. It's a societal invention. The hormones, the cosmetics, the plastic surgery, it's all societal. the twisting of the mind in order to try to rethink who you are, to brainwash yourself. I'm no longer a man. I'm no longer a man. I'm a beautiful woman. I'm a pretty woman. I'm a pretty sissy. I don't know what you call yourself or what you say to yourself. Some do say that. I know that because of surveying the pornography area. So, and I'm not saying all trans are pornography sissies. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that there are some who are pushed that way through pornography and they use that term. Whatever talk you give to yourself, you are convincing yourself. And whoever you surround yourself with who gives you this affirmation, it's all artificial. Tell me how that's not societal. Society is made of the people. And the people that you surround yourself with is your society. And if they're the ones saying, yes, it's okay, you can be a girl. You don't have to be a man. You can be a girl. And they say girl, but it's not girl because you can't become a girl. You can only become an artificial gender. That's the only other option besides your biological gender, because anything you change to is artificial. That's the simple truth. And once you've changed your gender to an artificial gender, you can never completely change it back. And we already have been hearing from some people who've transitioned to the artificial gender, trying and wishing that they could transition back, and they can't fully. They can't. And they're crushed. They're devastated. Their life is ruined. Let's have a look at another one here. How about that one? A nice looking young man, right? If this is true. We don't know that it's true. We can't read what it says here. But if it is, he's a nice looking young man. Why would he want to become a woman? So this is 1.5 weeks. This is 15 months, I guess. So not much change. Really not much change. Just the makeup around the eyes. You just got some makeup tutorials. Let's go down a little bit more. Let's see. Oh, here's this guy. All right. All right. So he shaved his beard and his mustache, put on a bunch of makeup. When you come out, does that mean he's just coming out that he's homosexual and he's cross-dressing, or does it mean that he's actual hormone replacement therapy? Because that's what he says here. So they're using the same term for homosexuality as for transgender coming out. So you know that that's what that's about. It's about homosexuality and trying to disguise it. Yeah. Because if you transition to looking like a woman towards everyone around you, then you can come on to men and people don't look at you like, oh, there's a man with a man, oh, homosexual. So now we know the real agenda. The real agenda is to conceal homosexuality so that it seems more palatable to those around you so that you can practice this in the bedroom and also carry it outside where you're with your partner, your homosexual partner, and not be known as homosexuals. No one would know. No one would know that you're homosexual because you look like a girl and you're with a guy. That's the real agenda under it, is to be able to make homosexuality hidden from society. So that's one of the agendas underlying it. Some of these are too rude. I won't show the close-up of them. Before and after. Now, you may look and you go, oh yeah, well look at him. He's some sort of thinning haired, bald guy with these stupid glasses on and looking pretty bad. And look at his stomach here hanging out, and now he looks like some sort of hot blonde chick that in the face you can still tell is transgender. Maybe people don't think that, but it's obvious when what looks like a female is really transgender. The face gives it away. The face always gives it away. And so you think, oh, and you compare the looks of the two, right, before and after. That's not the point. The point isn't about whether the person looks better that way or not. It's not about the point. That's not the point about it. Not at all. Not at all. So there we go. Now you can talk about the perversion of it as well. Look at how they dressed before and how they dressed after. Okay, like this one right here. Look at how he dressed before. Very conservative, not showing anything off as a man. And now after, he's showing everything off as a woman. And you can say, well, that's just him. Well, no, it's not just him. There were more up here. Like this. The way this top goes and cuts in like that, he didn't wear anything like that before. Or over here, where he's showing off his legs with a very high skirt. Right there. And putting a collar on. Which you may not realize, but that is a very, very light kind of indication of BDSM. And so you do have these here and there. You've got where the person before they transition, they were very normal dressed. They were very conservative dressed. After the transition, they're very scantily dressed and look more like a prostitute. So, and actually it's quite common. As you scroll down here, it's quite common. Let's look at another one here too. There's another one. This is someone else's Pinterest page. The other one was called, what did he label this, or she, or whoever it was? Transgender before and after. This is trans women before and after. Okay, so you can see here. Now here, he looks pretty much the same, just with a wig on and makeup. Here, could be his sister because the face is so much thinner. I don't really believe it. The bone structure actually changed here in the jawline. So I don't believe that. Also, the eyebrows go up like this as opposed to just even across. Now, maybe he did that with makeup. I doubt you could do that with makeup. That doesn't look like makeup. It looks like this may be his sister. And the lips are much thinner here than here. So, however, he has this very strong tendon here, which he also has here. So it could be. So it was 1 year of hormone replacement therapy, so maybe. Then you've got this where the nose has been changed. And this, which is horrible. Unbelievable. This. Oh, it's a different picture. I wonder what happened. Oh, because it must have shifted or something. There we go. This one. It doesn't say anything here. We don't know if this is the same guy or not. This. It's not even the same nose. So he had to have had plastic surgery done on the nose. And the nose even is bent. Notice. So, yeah, I'm not convinced this is the same person. Also, look at the chin. The chin is much more rounded here. Right here, it's flat and broad. Now, I don't believe this is the same person. Some of these are just fakes. Some are real, but some are fakes. So you got to be careful about that. And some of them do have plastic surgery done. So that is a possibility. They can have plastic surgery done on the nose. All right, but I think we've hit on this enough so that you get the point, is that these people are coming out of confusion from boys and girls, and even as adults, like that older man who changed into a woman. It's a confusion, and it's not being able to deal with rejection from the opposite gender. How do you deal with that? Do you just become one of them? And then you can go ahead and take advantage of the same kind of man as what you have been and be a homosexual? And then you have someone you can have sex with? Don't call it love, please. Don't call it love. Even between men and women, most of what goes on is not love. It's sex. Sexual gratification. It's not love. So that's what it's all about, though, is it's about confusion. And it's about lies. It's about lies from our culture, our society, that tells us that, oh, man, the biological label man and biological label woman are societal labels. They're not really biology. They're not really biology. Otherwise, you wouldn't have all this confusion inside of you about what it means to be a man. So really inside you're a woman. Outside is not the truth. What's in your heart is the truth. And our society loves to take advantage of this idea of the heart. Whereas in Jeremiah it says the heart is deceitful above all things and completely beyond cure. Who can fathom the depths of it except the maker of the heart, God? Jeremiah 17. And society loves to try to turn the heart into something that's true and pure. But the heart is not true and pure. The heart is wicked. Of all things in your body that will deceive you the fastest, it will be your heart, and the deepest. It will be your heart. Your heart will deceive you faster and quicker and deeper than anything else in your body. Men, you've got to be men. Don't bother yourself with women who don't understand what it means to be a woman. Don't bother yourself with women who are caught up in their fantasies. Leave them alone. Don't even touch them. Don't talk to them. Don't bother with them. Focus and become the ideal man. What does that mean? What does it mean? We've talked a lot about being a woman of God. What does it mean to be a man of God? Well, manly vigor has a lot to do with it. Manly vigor. Because when we demonstrate manly vigor, we are demonstrating one of the core characters of God. Where it says God Almighty, that word Almighty doesn't mean all might. It means all vigor. It's God all vigorous. That's literally what it is. God all vigorous. When we are showing manly vigor, we are demonstrating the character of God. When we are kowtowing and we're being submissive towards women, we're not being men. We cannot be submissive towards women. Women cannot hold authority over men. And when you do that, you are turning God's order upside down. And you expect women to behave towards you correctly? Absolutely not. No. And you have to have a plan and you have to have a direction. If you don't have a plan and direction in your life, you're not being manly. You have to do that. You have to come up with that. You have to execute it. You have to prepare things for it. You have to sail your ship. And if you're not doing it, then no one is, and you're just like floating on the ocean. No woman's going to respect that. No woman's going to get on your ship. If they say, where are you going? I don't know. Just thought I'd let the wind carry me wherever. No, thank you. No, thank you. You've got to be a man. If you expect to start a family, how are you going to have a family when you're renting? Well, you expect a family to live in a rental? Families do. But you know the instability of that? Anything could happen to that rental and then you have no place to live. You have to go look for a place to live then again. And it could happen again and again and again every 9 months, 12 months, 18 months. And you're just floating around. And your kids have no stable community. You've got to prepare your finances. You've got to buy a place. A woman doesn't want to be with you if you're going to be floating around. You've got to prepare your life. And it's not just buying a place also. It's having a source of income that's proven itself. Having a backup plan in case that source of income dries up, at least for a time. That means having enough to support your family for 12 months. Giving yourself a year worth of backup so that you can repair the finances or find another source of finances. You're the man. You have to do these things. No one's going to do them for you. And a woman doesn't feel secure coming to be with a man who doesn't have these things in order. So you've got to get your things in order. And if you go around, with a pity party on yourself, because the women don't want to go out with you, women don't want to be with you, you shouldn't be going out on a date anyway with a woman. Christian men shouldn't be doing that. Christian men shouldn't be alone with a woman. There are a lot of things that we need to talk about with relationship to relating to women. But having a pity party about women not liking you, wanting to give you the time of day, because you don't have your act together. You don't have your life in order. You're not going somewhere that is reliable, which is safe for the woman to feel like she can have a family with you. You've got to get it together. May the Lord bless you as you seek him with all your heart.